All right, so today we're diving into internal communications,
Okay.
specifically how to make it better, especially bigger companies,
Mm.
those complex organizations.
Yeah, those can be tricky.
And we found this awesome French article. It's packed with real-world examples
Oh, cool.
from companies you've definitely heard of, like IBM and Google, Zappos, even Microsoft.
That's a good lineup for sure.
Yeah. So it all starts with a vision, right? Having a clear vision for internal comms.
You mean like more than just we need good communication?
Exactly. It's got to be specific. It's like a blueprint for how info flows, how people connect within the company.
So like a vision statement specifically for internal communication.
Yeah, totally. And the article emphasizes tying this vision to your overall business goals.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, if your company's focused on customer satisfaction, then internal communication should help employees deliver those amazing customer experiences.
Exactly. It's all connected. So you got to define what kind of communication culture you're aiming for.
Right. We want super open dialogue, fast info sharing, empowered employees.
I love that. Imagine summing up your ideal communication in just 3 words. What would they be?
That's a good exercise.
Right. Write those down. They're the foundation of your vision statement. Then you can build actionable goals from there.
Okay, I like that. So if one word is transparency, a goal could be to share more info with employees about company performance.
Yes, and decision-making processes.
Mm.
You've got to be deliberate with every message, every meeting, every single thing you put out there.
It's strategic.
Totally. Now, the article gets into the tools you can use to make this happen.
Oh, like the actual channels?
Yeah, they list a bunch. Email, internets, meetings, obviously. Instant messaging, physical boards, digital boards,
Wow, they thought of everything.
newsletters, internal social networks even.
So many options.
I know, right? But the point is there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Each tool has pros and cons.
Like email's great for formal stuff, but maybe not for urgent matters.
Or brainstorming.
Yeah.
You're right. And here's where the article shines. Big examples of how companies use these tools well.
Okay. Tell me more.
So Google has MoMA, their intranet. It's like a central hub for employees globally. And then their famous TGIF meetings.
Where they answer questions from employees?
Exactly. It's all about transparency. And then Zappos, they're known for their strong company culture.
Right. They do those all hands meetings.
Yep, monthly, no topics off limits. It builds trust and open dialogue.
I like that approach.
Me too.
Yeah.
It makes people feel heard. Now think about your own workplace. How are those same tools being used? Could your intranet be more engaging?
Good point.
Are you stuck in email land when a quick message would do the trick? Maybe it's time to explore other options like project management platforms or those internal social networks.
Yeah, or even just using the existing tools better.
Definitely. It's about adapting and being open to new ways of doing things.
Because technology changes and so do people's preferences.
You got it. Now, before we get too lost in the how, let's step back to the why behind all this.
Okay. Why is internal communication so important?
Well, this article highlights transparency and recognition as key elements. It's not just about throwing information out there.
Right. It's about creating an environment where employees feel valued.
Exactly. Think about a time when you were kept in the dark at work. Frustrating.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It makes you
Yeah.
feel like you're not trusted.
And it can breed all sorts of rumors and negativity. Transparency, on the other hand, builds trust and a sense of shared purpose.
Makes sense. When you feel in the loop, you're more likely to be invested in the company's success.
Absolutely. And recognition plays a huge role, too.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to feel like their work matters.
Oh, for sure.
Like the article mentions Microsoft's You Inspire program, it's all about public acknowledgement for those who go above and beyond.
That's a cool idea. It must be a great morale booster.
It is. And it reinforces the company's values. It creates a positive feedback loop.
So it's win-win.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now think about your own team or department. How could you encourage more transparency and recognition?
Maybe suggest a regular Ask Me Anything with the manager. Or a platform for peer-to-peer recognition.
I love those ideas. Even small changes can make a big difference. It's about being proactive and constantly improving that flow of communication.
And creating a more open and appreciative environment.
Exactly. So we've got the vision, the tools, the why. Now let's get into some common pitfalls to avoid because, let's face it, we've all seen communication breakdowns happen.
Oh, yeah. Definitely happens all the time.
And the article lists some potential hazards. Honestly, they're so relatable. I think we've all experienced some of these firsthand.
Okay.
Let's hear them. All right, so the first one is a classic lack of transparency.
Oh, boy. We've all been there.
Think back to a time when you felt left out of the loop at work. Rumors swirling, but nobody giving you the straight story.
Huh. It's the worst. It creates so much distrust.
Right. It's super frustrating, and often it leads to more damage than the truth itself.
Because people start filling in the blanks with their own assumptions.
Exactly. So open and honest communication, even when it's tough, is crucial.
It's the only way to build trust and a healthy work environment.
Couldn't agree more. Now, the next pitfall is one-way communication.
What do you mean by that?
It's where information flows down from the top, but there's no real chance for feedback or dialogue.
Ah, I see. Like a lecture where the audience is just supposed to sit there and listen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You leave feeling like you were talked at, not talked with.
And that doesn't exactly make you feel valued or engaged?
Nope, not at all. So creating those feedback loops is crucial. It makes sure messages are not only received, but also understood.
So it's about two-way communication, making people feel like active participants.
Yes. And that brings us to the next pitfall, ignoring modern communication channels.
Oh yeah, this is a big one.
The world's moved on from memos and bulletin boards. Today, it's instant messaging, video conferencing, all those collaborative platforms.
And if you're clinging to the old ways, you're probably missing out.
On engagement efficiency, everything. It's about meeting employees where they are using the channels they prefer.
And adapting to how communication is constantly evolving.
Exactly. Now on to pitfall number 4, unclear goals and expectations.
Ah, this takes us back to that vision and strategy.
It does. If you haven't done your homework here, it all comes back to bite you. It's like trying to build a house without a blueprint.
That's a good analogy. It just won't work.
Exactly. So you need that clear communication cascading from the top down.
So everyone understands how their work contributes to the bigger picture.
You got it. It's about connecting the dots, showing people how their individual efforts matter.
That makes a huge difference in motivation and engagement.
For sure. And finally, we come to the last pitfall, neglecting company culture.
Oh, this is a big one.
It is. You can have the best tools, the most eloquent messages, but if the culture is toxic, it all falls flat.
It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg.
Perfect analogy. So internal communication becomes a powerful tool for shaping and reinforcing the desired culture.
It's about promoting the values, the behaviors you want to see.
Exactly. Like if you want to foster innovation, you need communication channels that encourage idea sharing and collaboration.
It all comes down to creating an environment where people feel connected, supported, and inspired.
That's what it's all about, right?
That's-
Now, the article wraps up by highlighting a potential solution for many of these challenges, a platform called Sociable.
Sociable. I haven't heard of that.
It's just one example of how technology can help. But before you think this is a sales pitch, let me assure you it's not.
Okay, good. I was wondering about that.
The article presents it as one option among many.
So what is it exactly?
Imagine a central hub for all your internal comms. It personalizes content delivery so people aren't bombarded with irrelevant stuff.
That sounds useful, especially in large organizations.
It does.
Yeah.
And it helps with coordination across different locations, departments, roles, you name it.
So it tries to tackle those challenges we talked about. One-way communication, information overload, reaching everyone effectively.
Exactly. But it's not a magic bullet. The best solution always depends on your specific needs and goals.
Right, like finding the right pair of shoes. What works for one person might be totally wrong for another.
You nailed it. You got to consider your company's size, structure, industry, even the existing culture, to find the perfect fit.
Makes sense. It's about empowering you to communicate effectively, not adding more complexity.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that brings us to a thought-provoking question the article ends with. Which company inspires you in terms of internal communication?
Ooh, that's a good one. It makes you look beyond your own bubble and find those who are doing it really well.
It is. It's a challenge to find those shining examples of communication excellence.
So we can learn from their successes.
Exactly. And maybe even adapt some of their practices or strategies for our own contexts.
It's about turning inspiration into action.
Love that. Now, before we wrap up this part, I want to circle back to the importance of that clear vision and strategy for internal communication.
Right. It all starts there.
It's the foundation for everything else, like laying the groundwork for a strong, resilient building.
And without it, everything crumbles.
You got it. And to build on that metaphor, the vision is the architectural blueprint. The strategy is the construction plan.
I like that. So the vision defines the outcome, the kind of communication culture you want.
And the strategy outlines the steps to get there.
It's about being intentional with every communication effort.
Totally. Asking yourself, what are we trying to achieve? How does this align with our goals? Who are we trying to reach?
Those are key questions. And what's the best channel to use? How do we ensure it's understood? How do we encourage feedback?
Yes. It's about tailoring your communication to the specific needs of your audience,
And remembering that your audience is made up of individuals.
with different roles, responsibilities, and communication preferences.
Exactly. Effective communication recognizes and respects those differences.
It's about speaking to people in a way that resonates with them, using language they understand and channels they're comfortable with.
It's about making people feel seen, heard, and valued.
And you know what? That's a pretty powerful thing.
It is, because when people feel valued, they're more likely to be engaged, motivated, committed to the organization's success.
And that, my friend, is the ultimate goal of effective internal communication.
It's about creating a culture of transparency, collaboration, shared understanding that helps everyone thrive.
Beautifully said. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave you with one final thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
We've explored the importance of a clear vision, choosing the right tools, fostering transparency, avoiding those common pitfalls.
A lot to think about.
But ultimately, effective internal communication boils down to one simple thing: human connection.
I love that. It's so true.
It's about remembering that behind every email, every meeting, every message, there's a person.
And when we approach communication with empathy, authenticity, and a genuine desire to connect, we can create something truly special.
It's about building bridges, not walls, creating a space where everyone feels safe to share their ideas, their concerns, their dreams.
And in that space, amazing things can happen. Innovation, collaboration, progress.
Couldn't agree more. So go forth and be the change you want to see in the world of internal communication.
What a great way to put it.
Start by asking those tough questions. Challenge the status quo. Seek out those inspiring examples of communication excellence.
And remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Even small changes can make a difference.
Creating a more connected, engaged, fulfilling workplace for everyone.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the fascinating world of internal communication. We hope you've gained some valuable insights, some thought-provoking ideas, and maybe even a renewed sense of enthusiasm for the power of communication to transform organizations from the inside out.
It's been a pleasure diving into this topic with you. Until next time, keep those communication channels open, keep those conversations flowing, and keep those connections strong.
And keep on learning, keep on growing, and keep on sharing your knowledge with the world. See you next time on The Deep Dive.
See you then.
It's like they say, sunlight's the best disinfectant. Being upfront, even when it's hard, is the best way to go.
Yeah, totally. And that brings us to the next pitfall, this one-way communication thing.
Oh, yeah. What do they call it?
One-way communication,
Right.
where info comes from the top, but there's zero feedback.
Like a lecture?
Yeah.
No chance to ask questions.
Exactly. It's like they're talking at you, not with you.
Get in those meetings. You don't feel engaged at all.
Nope. So we got to create feedback loops, make sure the message isn't just received but understood.
Two-way street then.
Yeah. Let employees be part of the conversation.
Okay, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Ignoring modern communication channels.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
The world's moved on from those old school methods.
Memos, bulletin boards. Who even uses those anymore?
Right. It's all about instant messaging and video conferencing now.
And collaborative platforms. If you're stuck in the past, you're missing out.
Big time engagement, efficiency, everything.
It's about meeting employees where they are, using the channels they actually like.
And adapting to the ever-changing communication landscape.
You said it's pitfall number 4 coming up.
Hit me with it.
Unclear goals and expectations.
So we're back to that vision and strategy we talked about.
We are. If you didn't do your homework here, it'll catch up to you.
Like building a house with no blueprint.
Exactly. You need that clear communication coming from the top.
Cascading down, so everyone gets how their work matters in the grand scheme.
Yep. Connecting the dots, showing the bigger picture.
Makes a huge difference for sure.
Okay, last pitfall time.
Lay it on me.
Neglecting company culture.
Oh, this is a heartbreaker.
It is. You can have amazing tools and perfect messaging. But if the culture's toxic, it's all for nothing.
Putting lipstick on a pig, as they say.
Exactly. So internal communication becomes a tool for shaping and reinforcing that desired culture.
Promoting the values and behaviors you want to see.
Like if you're all about innovation, you need channels that encourage idea sharing.
And make collaboration easy.
Yep. It's all about creating that positive environment where people feel connected.
Supported, inspired, ready to do their best work.
That's the goal, right?
The ultimate goal.
Now, the article talks about a potential solution for these challenges.
Yeah.
A platform called Sociable.
Sociable.
Okay. It's just one example. They're not sponsoring us or anything.
Good to know.
It's just one way technology can help.
So what's so special about it?
Well, imagine a central hub for all your internal comms. It tailors content so people aren't overwhelmed.
Less spammy emails.
Exactly. and it helps with coordination across departments' locations.
Okay, so it addresses those issues of one-way communication information overload?
And reaching those remote employees.
Yeah.
But like we said, it's not a cure-all.
The perfect solution depends on your specific needs and goals.
It's like shoes. What fits one person might be terrible for another.
Good analogy.
You got to consider your company's size, structure, everything to find the right fit.
Makes sense. It's about finding what empowers you to communicate well.
Exactly. Not just adding another layer of complexity.
Right. Simplify, not complicate.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that brings us to this thought-provoking question from the article. Which company inspires you in terms of internal communication?
That's a good one. It makes you look outside your own company.
Yeah. Find those shining examples of communication done right.
Learn from the best.
Exactly. See how they do it? Maybe adapt some of their ideas.
Turning inspiration into action.
I love that. Now, before we finish this part, I want to circle back to that clear vision and strategy.
The foundation of it all.
It's like building a house. You need that solid groundwork.
Otherwise, it all falls apart.
Yep. To continue the analogy, the vision is the blueprint, the strategy is the construction plan.
I'm liking these analogies.
Yeah.
So the vision defines the type of communication culture you want.
And the strategy outlines the steps to get there.
It's about being deliberate with everything you do.
Asking those key questions. What are we trying to achieve? How does this help us reach our goals? Who are we talking to?
And are we using the right channel? Is the message clear? Are we getting feedback?
Yes. It's all about tailoring your communication to your specific audience.
Remembering that your audience is made up of individuals.
With different needs and preferences.
Exactly. Effective communication respects those differences.
It's about speaking their language, using the channels they prefer, making them feel heard and understood.
And valued.
Which is a powerful thing.
It is. When people feel valued, they're more engaged, more motivated.
And ultimately more committed to the company's success.
Which is the whole point.
Exactly. It's about creating that culture of transparency and collaboration.
Where everyone can thrive.
Beautifully said. So as we wrap up this section, let's leave you with a final thought. We've talked about vision tools, transparency pitfalls.
It's a lot of ground covered.
But it all comes back to human connection.
At the end of the day, it's all about people.
It is. Remember that behind every email, every meeting, every message, there's a person on the other side.
And when we connect with empathy and authenticity, we can achieve great things.
It's about building bridges, not walls. Creating a safe space for everyone to share their ideas.
And their concerns and their dreams.
And in that space, that's where the magic happens.
Innovation, collaboration, true progress.
So go out there and be the change you want to see in your workplace.
Start asking those tough questions. Challenge the status quo. Find those companies that are doing it right.
And remember, every journey starts with a single step.
Even small changes can make a big impact.
Creating a more connected, engaged, and fulfilling workplace for everyone. Creating a more connected, engaged, and fulfilling workplace for everyone. It's about making people feel seen, heard, and valued. And you know what? That's a pretty powerful thing.
It is. When people feel valued, they're more likely to be engaged, motivated, committed to the organization's success.
And that, my friend, is the ultimate goal of effective internal communication.
It's about creating a culture of transparency, collaboration, shared understanding that helps everyone thrive.
Beautifully said. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave you with one final thought.
Again, listening.
We've explored the importance of a clear vision, choosing the right tools, fostering transparency, avoiding those common pitfalls.
A lot to think about.
But ultimately, effective internal communication boils down to one simple thing: human connection.
I love that. It's so true.
It's about remembering that behind every email, every meeting, every message, there's a person.
And when we approach communication with empathy, authenticity, and a genuine desire to connect, we can create something truly special.
It's about building bridges, not walls. Creating a space where everyone feels safe to share their ideas, their concerns, their dreams.
And in that space, that's where the magic happens.
Innovation, collaboration, true progress.
Exactly.
So go out there and be the change you want to see in the world of internal communication.
What a great way to put it.
Start by asking those tough questions. Challenge the status quo. Seek out those inspiring examples of communication excellence.
And remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Even small changes can make a difference.
Creating a more connected, engaged, fulfilling workplace for everyone.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the fascinating world of internal communication. We hope you've gained some valuable insights, some thought-provoking ideas, and maybe even a renewed sense of enthusiasm for the power of communication to transform organizations from the inside out.
It's been a pleasure diving into this topic with you. Until next time, keep those communication channels open, keep those conversations flowing, and keep those connections strong.
And keep on learning, keep on growing, and keep on sharing your knowledge with the world. See you next time on The Deep Dive.
See you then.